Hi everybody. What is it, Tuesday? Welcome to Terrific Tuesday. So I've just had like errands to run and things to do this week. So I feel like my schedule is a little bit off. And like this morning I had an appointment that I thought was Thursday, but it was today. And I was like, oh, well, I needed it. And it came 2 days early. So to me, I feel like that's a sign, right? And then when I was driving, I saw hawks, I saw fives, and there's a building that said balance forward, but it had the letter 4 in like for forward. So it's 44 on the time. I think our blessings are coming in. And I feel as if for some, they're not going to come in like how you expect them to come in. Like you're going to be surprised at how they come. Like they're not, well, we all dream, right? But they're not going to come that way. I think they're going to catch you off guard a little bit to where maybe you're like, oh shit, is that even a blessing? But I'm hearing like, do not be afraid of what's coming. 111 on the time. So like when I sat down today, I was like, gosh, I don't really know. Like, I don't know what to pull on. Like, I don't know where you're wanting me to go with this. Like what's the plan, Stan, you know? And they wanted me to pull from a deck I have yet to pull from on any type of social media platform. So I have a deck that's based off of Hermetic principle, okay? The Emerald Tablet, Hermetic Wisdom, the 7 principles, okay? And what came out today, we had the first principle, which, and I'm gonna get into this, was the law of mentalism. The second Hermetic principle, which is the principle of correspondence. Trust me, I know it's going to sound like Latin or Greek, but you guys will actually know what I'm talking about when I explain. And then we had the 5th, which is the law of rhythm. And then the 6th Hermetic principle, okay? So that's like the law or the principle of cause and effect. So I will go through these so you don't freak out. I'm not going to go like too in depth. I'm thinking about making that kind of like a service or like a subscription-based plan. To dig into Hermetic wisdom. It's fascinating to me, and comprehending it and understanding it has made going with the flow so much easier. But what came out first and how Spirit is wanting me to share this with you, the very first card that came out was that, yes, there are surprise attacks on you right now, okay? And you may feel them. Like, you know, you get body aches, you get headaches, you get really tired, your eyes burn, or like you may feel like you just don't want to do things that normally you enjoy doing. That's evil eye. Like that's just, you know, the plain and simple of it. Yes, I know it's spring and I know there's allergies and I know there's viruses going around and I know that people are sick, but if you know, you know, okay? Even if you're sick, but you feel well and then all of a sudden it's like you take 12 steps back, sometimes that's what that is, okay? I don't discount that there are things happening in 3D that cause us to not feel well, but there are also things you cannot see, okay? So with that being said, the next card that came out was the universe loves you and that God is your sugar daddy, okay? And that played nicely with that there's surprise attacks on you, because at the bottom of this, there are surprise attacks on you. It says Spirit and God are blocking these. So what you feel is nothing compared to what was sent your way, okay? There are also projections, heavy projections being sent to you, all right? Because I'm telling you, they got caught, all right? So the blockages they sent you are now blockages that will never be moved from their life, and they're trying anything and everything to get these things to go away. Everything you do or say, anything you think, everything mental, okay? Anything you feel emotionally, okay? Anything that you speak is 100% anchored in divine wisdom. At this point, you are so ascended. You are like a walking emerald tablet. And people want to know how you know what you know. And sometimes you don't even know how you know what you know, but you know what you know what you know, right? So, and then we have my cat jumping up here. The other thing they wanted me to point out, so this goes, oh wait, okay, gotcha. Sorry, that's the second principle. The first Hermetic principle they want to talk about is the law of mentalism, okay? How do I sum the law of mentalism up? That reality is not physical. okay? What you have in your 3D is a direct reflection, okay, of what's in your mind. The easiest way for me to explain that to you is if you are one of those people who is always expecting the shoe to drop, or you were one of these people, right? Where you always kind of were Eeyore-ish, and that's what you got more, like that's what your reality would create or would give you. That's why. That's the law of mentalism, because your mind is everything. Reality is not physical, okay? Everything is a projection. It is a construct. It's the matrix, okay? So the universe you observe is the same universe that observes itself. I know, it's crazy. That's Erwin, I think it's Schrödinger who said that. The universe that the universe that observes you is the same universe that observes itself. Everything is a construct, okay? So what you think, how you look, or like not how you look, but how you look at things, how you feel towards things, that can either be the death of you or it can be the creation of your new reality. Because your mind is everything. So your mental discipline is what translates into concrete behaviors, concrete actions, which then creates your reality, okay? So if your mind is healthy, it is strong, and it is balanced, and it understands what is you and what is not you, your reality will reflect that, which leads us into our second principle, which is the principle of correspondence. Now, you will hear this everywhere: as above, so below, as within, so without. The macro is the micro, okay? That's the principle of correspondence. So again, if you are not in alignment on the inside, your outside will not be aligned either. So you have to remember, staying grounded is like the most important thing, okay? Matter is only an image that is projected by source. As above, so below. Matter is only an image of what is projected by source. As above, so below. As within, so without. So if you understand the concept of mentalism, where everything is your mind, that begins to work yourself into an alignment. You don't get tricked, because your mind is your own worst enemy, okay? That's the game. So when you understand that and you work on focusing and staying in alignment, that's when you begin to see your reality change. The fool's journey, right? Tarot, energy. Everybody goes through it. Situations and feelings and emotions are presented in different ways, but it's all based off of the same thing. Finding your way back to your heart. Finding your way back to being in alignment, okay? So, then we moved into, what was it? The law of rhythm, okay? That's the ebb and flow. Like everything in the universe, it follows a cycle, okay? So there's always, to every action, there's always a reaction, right? To every advance, there's always a retreat. There's always, which is the next one, cause and effect. So Spirit was drawing my attention to a storm, okay? You know, if you look at how things flow in the ocean, storms go in, they go out. Tide comes in, tide goes out. Cycles, life, okay? Seasons, winter to spring. Spring to summer, summer to fall, okay? That kind of rising and sinking. You falling in, you falling out, okay? Look at empires, the rise and the fall of empires, okay? Everything that rises will someday fall. What goes up must come down. And then to link these two sort of is chance. Like people will say, oh, it's by chance. No, nothing is by chance. And that is kind of an enlightened mind, an awakened mind versus an unawakened mind. Okay? So chance. What does chance mean to you? Like, what is your definition of chance? Do you believe everything is by chance, or have you gotten to the point where you understand that nothing happens by chance? Okay, like, sorry, I had to I'm moving my camera a little bit. What's your definition of chance? Like, how do you feel about it, right? Like, you know, everybody used to, you know, think, oh, it's chance, it's left to chance. So when you look at Hermetic wisdom, right? When you look at Hermetic wisdom, so Hermetic wisdom looks at chance as the name we give to, like, the ignorance that we possess, like our own ignorance, okay, of the law of cause and effect. Ignorance is, you know, like some say ignorance is bliss. Like, chance is what we call our ignorance of that law, because we don't want to look at what we did to create what is now affecting us. For every cause, there is an effect, correct? So the law of cause and effect, an enlightened person, an awakened person, someone who is in alignment will see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, okay? Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. They will look at it, right? It's not a problem. It's a blessing in disguise. It's a lesson, okay? Not why is this happening, but what is this teaching me? Like, what is this healing in me that I didn't realize needed to be healed? Because, and this kind of came into my head earlier today when I was driving. For anything to happen, there's so many things that have to take place behind the scenes. And that goes for everything. I mean, if you're putting on a dinner, if you're putting on a party or a social gathering, there's so much work behind the scenes, right? For it to turn out the way you want it to turn out. Now, think about that on a grander scale, right? The micro is the macro. So for your blessings to come into you, a lot of shit's got to be fucking moved. All right. Those of you who, have done the healing and you're on this journey and you've mastered these lessons, you've closed these karmic cycles, like you're waiting for shit to come in. True, you are, but you're either, sometimes you focus too much on when is it coming, and that just delays it more, or you get stuck in a rut where you don't realize, like, oh fuck, that's right. Like, there are other moving parts in this that have to be addressed and have to be taken care of. And you know what? That's not my responsibility. I don't worry about that because it's not my responsibility. I stay in my own lane. I keep my side of the street clean. I just do what I have to do for me, right? Because when you detach from it, right? And sometimes things come, we get lessons or we get little tests. I hate that. But, little like, did she really learn kind of things? Or did he really get that? Does he really understand that lesson? What if we present it this way, right? That's okay. That's okay. Because there's so many things. There's so much beauty and there's so much peace in the chaos, because that's where shit's happening, all right? So behind chaos is the sublime order that's supposed to be. So don't lose sight of that, all right? Because nothing ever just happens. That's what they're wanting me to make you understand. The law of cause and effect, that is something that needs to be truly understood and learned. Like, nothing ever just fucking happens. Nothing ever just happens. So they had me present, don't be afraid. They don't want you to be afraid of this. They don't want you to feel like you don't know this. They don't want me to scare you, because that's not the whole point. My point is, sometimes you have to take a step back and look and make sure that you are putting all the pieces together correctly. That's part of healing, right? Is it not? So by mastering the mind, that law of mentalism, okay, understanding the significance of even the law of vibration, that om, right? Grounding yourself, keeping your vibration high so that you are at a vibrational level that can support the blessings that you have coming your way. Okay, that's your alignment. So if you master the mind, you master the cause. Then by mastering the cause, therefore you master what? You master the effect, okay? If you master your mind, you master the cause. And then once you master the cause, you master the effect. Therefore, creating a reality that you want. Okay? If you master the mind, you're in charge of the cause. And by being in charge of the cause, you're in charge of the effect. You're never creating everything on your own, because I know someone's going to say that to me. You're not. But God is saying you are, though, because by releasing control, I'm giving you more control. Okay? Again, here we are with the storms. I said God keeps bringing me back to storms. So if you look at things meteorologically, a storm doesn't just happen, right? There's precise meteorological laws that have to happen. Pressure, temperature, humidity, wind, like everything has to come together, right, for a storm, for it to be forecast accurately. And generally, we are pretty accurate, but sometimes shit goes haywire, correct? This is that law of cause and effect. And not all storms in our lives are here to cause destruction. If you master the mind, you master the cause. Once you master the cause, you then master the effect. Okay? And anything small that you do, that you begin to change on the daily, those small things, that's what affects the microcosm of your life, okay? That's that. It affects how you manifest in daily life, if it makes sense. So by creating these minor changes in your life, those changes add up, right? And it creates major change, which then that major change affects the world around you, which affects other people's vibration, which that's the collective. So small acts that begin in the microcosm of the mind, they begin to manifest in your daily life, which then create the changes in the macrocosm of life. Okay, everything starts small. All right, in the Bible, Luke 17:21, Jesus says that the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Man contains the seed of the divine inside, like the cosmos, the micro inside the macro. So you, as the micro, affect the macro. We are all like little bits of stardust, right? So, and then the last part, I talked about this yesterday in my video. Have faith that things are coming in, that justice is here. Because again, like I said, there are surprise attacks on you at the moment that Spirit and God are fucking handing right back to people. Okay, and it is rough. But that is also because karma is here. She does not miss. And if someone has not paid their karmic debt for lifetimes, they're all hitting that one person at one time. And Spirit is wanting me to make sure you understand that, because they don't want you looking back. They don't want you like opening your heart to this person so they can come in and stab you again and drag you down with them. Karma is here to collect. Okay? And I am telling you, these demons that these people sold their souls to are sick of these people. They're like sick of them. They don't even want to collect their soul. So when I say it's rough, it is very, very rough, but we don't find joy in that. We find joy in the fact that balance is here, because we understand that karma teaches us the universal laws. How do we learn these hermetic principles besides learning them from somebody or looking into them? Karma. Eventually you do enough bullshit and you leave so many scars on the world. You gotta pay for them. You gotta repair it. Okay? It is not a punishment and reward system. It is literally a balancing system that teaches us the laws of hermetic wisdom. Okay? So, love over fear. That's all there want. Like love over fear. Okay? Love is expansive. Love is it breaks barriers, right? Whereas fear is constrictive and it distances. Okay? Remember that. Don't be afraid of what's coming. Continue living in love. All right? Protecting your energy, keeping your boundaries up, not looking back. Okay? Putting what you've learned into your life, applying it, right? The micro affects the macro. Little tiny changes you make in yourself, in your day, affects the bigger picture. And get outside. I was outside for a little bit, but it was humid, and then there were like people working, so I came back in to record because it would have just been a fucking shit show. All right? So I just wanted you to hear this message because it's important. I didn't realize that's where they were wanting me to go today. I thought it was going to be a little more fun, but I'm going to do some cards here in a little bit and I'll post another video. But hey, remember, alignment on the inside equals it on the outside, okay? Nothing ever happens because it wants to. It happens because it happens. It happens because it happens because it happens. It happens because you, at some point, somewhere in the past, did something that caused it. It's like karma, right? Like people don't understand the effects of their actions or their thoughts or their words on other people, and they don't suffer right away, or they don't see the return right away. But eventually it like catches up, right? So that's the whole point. You collective have ascended to where was that card? Everything you do or say, even think, is 100% anchored in divine wisdom. You do nothing but channel divine light and divine energy. Okay? So Spirit is asking me to remind you of these principles, okay? So you can kind of see how things work, all right? They want you to understand how things work, because you are here to impart wisdom, and you are here to be an example of what love and trust in God is. You don't need a herd of people. You don't need mob mentality to show power. You show power alone because you are a channel for the divine. Because after all, real power is only given by God. And you are going to show those who felt they needed to have a group of people to be powerful what true power is. Because power is also through wisdom. Being able to look yourself in the mirror and admit that, hey, you know what? There is no such thing as chance, but I understand that now, because it's not a personal attack on me. It's the fact that I just didn't understand that my actions have reactions. I don't want to see that side of it. It's much easier for me to think it's happening to me, not because of shit that I fucking did. But when you look at shit you fucking did and what it brought, that's how you fucking learn. And that, my friends, is how Karma teaches us. That is awakening. That is enlightenment. That is going through shadow work. That is dark nights of the soul. That is seriously understanding there's nothing to be fucking afraid of. Because you love yourself. Love over fear. When in doubt, don't be afraid of your fucking strength. And don't let camouflaged fucking fear make you backtrack. You're too smart, and you're too fucking beautiful, and you're too strong. And I love you so much, and I don't want to lose you as a member of this collective. I want you to help me spread this knowledge. I want you to help me get these messages out, right? Or else what am I doing? You know? Why do I get woken up in the middle of the night to get these crazy ass downloads, right? So, like and share, please. All right? That's the only way I can get this word out. That's the only way people see this. All right? I don't do anything else. I don't really advertise. I don't do anything. This is it. I just post these videos and hope the right people see them and that they're able to take something from it. So, help me out. Help a sister out. Like it. Share it. Brag about it. Get these views up for me, right? So we can just keep spreading this love, spreading this divine light. That's all I want. Thank you all so much. I do love you so much. And I shall see you, but bye for now. Bye.